Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Fierce Friday. And I'm so excited for today's call. We're going to be talking about the postpartum season of pregnancy. Some call it the fourth trimester, and it's a very important trimester that sometimes can get overlooked actually in this time. And so we want to really focus on, for mother and for baby, how we can best serve people in this season when they have just given birth. And we're going to hear from some incredible guests today. So we're going to be hearing from Mary Beth on her experience postpartum with these superfoods. We're going to be hearing from Allison Elsbury, who we're going to introduce in a bit, and Stephanie Dawn, who y'all remember from Million Mom Council, OG in the house. So happy to have you here today. And I'm just so excited. So I just want to share a little, I didn't ask anyone to read the pledge, but if anyone would like to read the pledge before we get started, we always start with our pledge. This just sets the intention of what we're gathered here together for all these years for. And I was wondering if, Pamela Gilchrist, yes, please, let's bring up the Nayeva. Thank you so much. And thank you, Pamela, for volunteering.
Hello, everybody. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement.
Beautifully said. That was said with so much passion. I really felt that. Thank you so much, Pamela. And you definitely live it. And you are such an incredible example. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today and for setting that tone for this call. So well, before we get started, I'm just going to share a little in my personal experience of this Purium coming into my life postpartum after after I had my two girls. So I wish always this came into my life sooner. And I think that is probably everyone who's on Purium will say the same. They just wish they had found it sooner. But luckily it came in when it did. When I was, after my second child was born, my second daughter, I had been diagnosed with postpartum psychosis and I was diagnosed as bipolar 2 and was put on serious medications. And that was, a big wake up in my health journey. Also that, so knowing that I had to, get off these medications and I really wanted to heal myself to be the best mom I could be was what got me kind of down the rabbit hole of looking into health and finding out about gut health and, proper nutrition. But really my baby came with a huge gift, which was that she was born with, well, so many gifts, but one of the, a really life-changing one for all of us in our family was that she was dairy intolerant. So I couldn't have any dairy while I was pregnant, which was probably my weakness and actually was a big blessing that I got to cut out that food group and got to see when I cut out some of the, the foods that was affecting her, how it helped me as well. So I actually thank Junie all the time that she brought that she was intolerant to something that wasn't really serving my health. And then also opening my whole world up to needing to step into this healing into as a mother. So I started looking into nutrition and one thing led to another, and that's how Purium came into my life. And it was just the tail end of breastfeeding. So I was, Junie was 18 months old. My other, Rhea, was still nursing she was 4 years old and 4.5 years old. And that's just when I didn't realize how depleted I was. as well. So not only like mentally, I was, and I had been taking a certain amount of medication that I thought would be basically, I was told it was safe to be on while nursing, but knowing what I do now, none of it is safe to be ingesting because as most of us, and even as new mothers, like we're not always making the connection that what we're putting in our body and how it's affecting our children. There is a big disconnect. And I know around me, it's all about what's culturally acceptable. And everyone around me is having, just a small amount of wine or having coffee every day. One coffee a day is fine. And, just having junk food and whatever we want, basically indulging as, they kind of they kind of glamorize or glorify indulging in like, whatever our cravings are while we're pregnant and postpartum. So this is just a very important call for me to hear these from the shares that we're going to hear and to bring these messages to people who are ready and hopefully can get this information before I did, which, and whenever it comes into your life is a blessing. So if you're, even if your children are all grown up, I mean, we are all here to help with what we went through. We are all here to help other people maybe not make the same mistake. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Nayeva, and please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Allison, for opening up the call, and welcome everyone. This topic is so near and dear to my heart because I also was introduced to Purium when I was postpartum. And at the time I was overwhelmed and undernourished. I had 5 kids in 4 different schools and a new baby. And so you can just imagine, I had stress by 7 a.m. I had already been stressed out for half an hour trying to get the kids up and fed and shoes tied and out the door to get them all to school on time. So needless to say, I was living off coffee until noon. I was often not fueling myself properly, or I was coming home from dropping off the kids and, cleaning up their plates, so to say, as I was putting things away. And I really wasn't taking action towards doing something for myself. And so it took my dear friend and midwife noticing this and asking me, like, what are you doing for yourself daily? And I really didn't even know how to answer that because there wasn't a specific thing that I was doing for myself. I was making meals for the family and I would have some and whatnot, but there wasn't like one thing that I was really doing for myself. And so she helped me to realize this, and she shared Purium with me. She shared the Love Super Meal primarily because of how nutritious it is and how it has everything packed into one super meal shake. It really is like the all-in-one meal replacement before we came out with Epigenius Kids, I might add, because that one is another really great all-in-one, or Epigenius Family now it's called. But that's how I was introduced. And I had been, trying to make smoothies and juices and things, but it wasn't fueling me fully. I would drink it, and then 15-20 minutes later, I'd feel hungry again. And I would need something that could actually like really fill me up and fuel me and feed my cells. And so when I tried the Love Super Meal, I made myself a shake, and I literally felt so full that I didn't even drink the whole thing. I drank half of it and felt fully satisfied and actually had energy. When the kids came home from school that day, instead of wanting to take a nap, I was able to make it through their school, homework, their after school programs, sports, beach, all those things, and make dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, I literally didn't feel like I was going to crash today, which on the norm, I would live off coffee till noon. And then the rest of the afternoon, I just wanted to take a nap. Like I was ready to go to bed by 3 p.m. And so this was my day-to-day for a while until Purium came into my life. And then I decided to go all in, and I started taking my aminos every single morning. It was the first thing I did for myself every single day before I got the kids out of bed, before, my stress level went up. It was just take the aminos and drink a glass of water and just get centered for 1 minute. And just this alone made such a huge transition in my life and in my mental health of like, I've done something for myself. Okay, now from a grounded space, I'm going to go wake up the kids and help them to prepare themselves for school, get their breakfast in their bellies and whatnot. And then, of course, I was able to make a power shake on my way out the door, or a Love Super Meal shake, or whichever shake I had chosen for that day. I could literally just mix it with water and take it with me. It wasn't something that was going to take me extra time to sit down and eat when I was already short on time to get the kids to school. So this way I could take it with me. I could drink it on my way or on my way home. However it worked out for me, I was actually doing something for myself again for the second time in the day before 8 a.m., which was like amazing for me. And then, of course, introducing, the biomedic and the tart cherry in the evening so I could really get that deep sleep and that gut health. And then also, so my baby was getting deep sleep because I was breastfeeding him. And, those sleepless nights on top of early mornings with several kids can be very stressful. And like, I don't want to get up in the morning, right? So it really helped me to feel fully rested in the short amount of hours that I got to sleep through the night. So this program has been a godsend for me. I've been so grateful for it. And I've never quit. It's been over 9.5 years now that I've been consuming these products. I just turned 10. And I love these superfoods. They have enabled me to do so many things. And, they're perfect for traveling. They're perfect. They were his first food. Whenever he weaned, he chose the power shake. He literally would reach for it every day. And one day I decided to share it with him. And when I gave him a sip, we never went back after that. He was a power shake lover from then on. And he still comes home from school to this day. And if he's having any stomach issues or he's just feeling like he needs a little snack, but he's not sure what he wants, he's like, Mom, make me a power shake or make me an Epigenius family. Or, he knows that we have these superfoods on hand for him. So our kids really do what we do. And this is the best example that we can set for them. So without going any further into my story, I'd love to bring on one of my dear friends, an amazing woman in our community. She was the chair of our Million Mom Movement Council for many years. She came up with this idea of having Fierce Fridays back 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm so grateful for her really just paving the way for us here. And so without further ado, I'd love to hear from you, Stephanie Dawn. Welcome.
Thank you, Nayeva. Hello, Million Mom Movement community. It is so good to be back. Yeah, it was actually 2020, Nayeva. It was January 2020. I'd been the chair for, I don't know, about 9 months or so. And I just realized that winter that we needed to come together as a community of concerned moms and dads and aunties and uncles and grandparents and all the things, It's not just about moms and dads. And particularly around the issue of glyphosate. That's really what got me fired up because of what happened with my own child, Zephyr, and Cheerios. So for those of you who've been around for a while, you'll know that I fed my kid Cheerios and he got really, really sick. And what we learned in 2016 is that glyphosate, Cheerios had the highest parts per billion of glyphosate on them. And thank God for biomedic. So that really got my fire going around educating the larger community within the Purium field around what's going on with pesticides on our food. And it's all about education. So I'm so glad that Fierce Friday continues without me and that you all are, the torch is still lit. So this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart. Personally, I found Purium 10 years postpartum when I was really frustrated with my own body. I was about 50 pounds overweight and I'd given birth to 2 children and I didn't know what to do. I was pretty lost nutritionally. And so Purium was really a way for me to get on board with my own nutrition and support my body, my being, my health. And for me, the entry point was vanity. But what I've learned now is that weight comes off when we're doing right by our bodies and when we're experiencing health and when we're, alkalizing our body. And so about 2 years ago, I heard a story that I'm going to share with you that really elevated this topic for me And before I share this story with you, and Allison, it kind of, I think, goes in tandem with what you were sharing. I didn't know that that was part of your story, and I'm so sorry that it was. But I just really feel, I'm so glad that we have this opportunity to talk about it, because the more we talk about it, the more we can normalize it and help new moms feel okay, or at least better about what's going on with them, and let them know that there are solutions. So one of the things that I want to just educate around this morning is what causes postpartum depression. So hormonal changes may trigger symptoms of postpartum depression. And when you are pregnant, levels of female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are the highest they'll ever be. And then in the first 24 hours after childbirth, hormone levels quickly drop back to normal pre-pregnancy levels. Researchers think this sudden change in hormone levels may lead to depression. Levels of thyroid hormones may also drop after giving birth. Low levels of thyroid hormones can cause symptoms of depression. Other feelings may contribute to postpartum depression, including feeling tired, overwhelmed, and stressed. And these feelings are very common among new mothers. And I just want to stop for a minute and say, I think something else that we don't talk enough about is, we love our nuclear family, like, right? Like, we're all excited about our brand new nuclear family. But the issue with our current culture is we need to be bringing more nuclear families together in a larger community. And I don't know about you all, but my eldest just turned 20 this past week, and I was so alone. I had no friends who had given birth. And I found an online community that actually really helped me. And then we ultimately started meeting up in person. But finding community before you give birth is really going to help you, I think, in terms of postpartum depression. So just wanted to speak to that. And then I also would like to clarify, what is the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression? Because you hear folks talk about baby blues. So most women get the baby blues or feel sad or empty within a few days of giving birth. It's absolutely natural. If you have the baby blues, you may have mood swings, feel sad or overwhelmed, have crying spells, lose your appetite, or have trouble sleeping. Oh my gosh, sleep is so, so, so important. And if you can just get help with community so that you can nap and they can hold the baby, or you nap when the baby naps, sleep is just, it's golden, right, mamas? Like, the importance of sleep. I've never really felt beside myself until I was sleep deprived with a newborn. So it doesn't feel good to feel beside yourself. You feel like it's very alarming and disconcerting and not fun in any way. So the symptoms of postpartum depression last longer and are more severe than baby blues. And postpartum depression usually begins within the first month after childbirth, but it can begin during pregnancy or for up to a year after birth. So, how do I know if I have postpartum depression? Any woman can become depressed during pregnancy or after having a baby. It doesn't mean you are a bad mom. All right. We just want to do away with that stigma. But if you have any of the following symptoms for more than 2 weeks, you want to call your doctor, nurse, or midwife. And you're going to want to take notes because this is a really important list. Okay. 17 critical signs of postpartum depression. You have no energy for day-to-day tasks. You feel sad, hopeless, and empty. You feel disconnected from your baby. You're afraid you can't care for your baby. You have a hard time bathing and caring for yourself. You're drinking coffee every day. You heard what Nayeva was saying, right? Hashtag mommy juice. A couple years ago, we had this campaign where we were like, let's make the hashtag mommy juice all about the power shake. Let's do that. That's the Million Mom movement. Let's get moms off of coffee, which just depletes the adrenals and takes them down. You don't know what to feed yourself and can go for a long period of time without eating or drinking. You don't care about what you eat, you overeat, or you eat mostly processed and frozen foods just because it's easy and convenient, right? if you have extreme brain fog and sleep a lot, if you cry a lot, if you have trouble focusing or making decisions, if you're having thoughts of hurting yourself, if you're having thoughts of hurting your baby, losing interest or pleasure in activities that you used to enjoy, withdrawing from friends and family, having headaches, aches and pains, or stomach problems that don't go away, feeling restless or moody. So hopefully that helps educate just a little bit around what constitutes baby blues and postpartum depression so that you can keep an eye out. Because, I often say to my team, like, we are the lighthouses for those moms that need help. We're the ones that can bring them this nutrition. And so I want to share with you an amazing woman's story. I heard her story on the social networks. She wasn't on my team directly, but she was on my uplines team. And I don't think I really understood how severe postpartum psychosis was until I heard her story. And I actually cried. I cried and cried. And it was her story that got me to produce the Lunch and Learns way back in the day. For those of you, I don't know if the Lunch and Learns are still going on, but I was like, we got to talk about this. So here's Hannah's story. I suffered postpartum psychosis. I had delusions, paranoia, and suspiciousness. I had difficulty communicating and lost complete touch with reality, feeling confused and unaware. I had terrifying thoughts about the safety of myself and my baby. I truly thought if I admitted what was really going on in my head, they would take my baby away, put me in jail or a straitjacket. I was not in my right mind, and I was petrified. I was so scared to put this out there for the fear of negative judgments, but realized I had to let go of carrying that heavy burden of negativity all around. Fear of hiding the stigma around postpartum psychosis, anxiety, and depression. I don't want to hide it or hide behind it because this transformation, i.e., the ultimate lifestyle transformation, saved my life and saved my marriage. My postpartum was bad. I mean, really bad. I couldn't drive. I made excuses why I couldn't attend dinners or social events. I was deeply embarrassed and ashamed. I had no logical thoughts. I couldn't tell the time. I would look at the clock but not understand. So I set alarms to feed my daughter. I had a deep sense and fear of slipping away, partnered with suicidal visions and thoughts. Even my periods were so bad, I would lie on the floor vomiting or have diarrhea. It was awful. My irritability was unfair to my family, yet I had no control. I spent thousands on doctors, acupuncture, naturopathic therapists, herbs, diets, hypnosis. Nothing was working. Unsure of it all, I decided to invest in myself one more time and committed to the 30-day ultimate lifestyle transformation. Almost 4 years postpartum, I can finally say, I am symptom free, she writes in all caps. 15 days into the protocol, my husband looked over at me and said, babe, whatever you're doing, never stop. I can now drive, no longer need to nap, and most importantly, I feel like I'm showing up for my family, not wasting another day in the postpartum blur I've been living in. I feel more confident, more focused, more present. My husband and I are better than ever, and I feel like I'm not missing another moment. My PMS has gone away. I have to set an alarm to remind me when I will start my period, as I have no more symptoms. Such an added bonus that I didn't see coming. And I lost the stubborn 10 postpartum pounds that just wouldn't shed. This protocol has literally put breath back in my body. I will be forever grateful to have found these products and the simple solutions they have given me. I write this with the hope that others don't have to feel alone and can find the strength to get through their own postpartum journeys. If I can help just one mama, my transformation story will be worth it. We just celebrated my daughter's 4th birthday. For the first time, I truly celebrated. I was there, present, grateful, and happy. Finding true joy in life again has been my everything. So, when I heard Hannah's story, I knew that we could help more moms. And I knew that women did not need to suffer alone in silence any longer. Not with all of us out there. So talking about this, sharing about what you've learned today, and bringing this solution into the room, be the light in the room. That's my wish for you all today, that you find inspiration for yourself and for the women and families in your life that can benefit from what we have. Food heals. We know that it does. And so thank you so much for having me, Nayeva. I'm so grateful to be back and just sending so much love to you all today.
Go ahead, Nayeva.
Oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. It's so beautiful to have you back on here and to hear you just sharing your passion with all of us. So great to see you. And I'll pass it over to you, Allison, to introduce our next guest.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing that, Stephanie. It's always so good to hear your voice, and that share was really hit home. And just, talk about like the nuclear family kind of just being, that's what we've been thinking, that like that's all we have, and we've been set up with that. And Jared working, I think those 16-hour days to make up for my mental health, not being able to work because, we were taking care of a family of 4 now. That's what compounds this stress. It's like to have, it doesn't make sense to have to go to work and to have to, be alone when you're in that state with 2 kids. And luckily, like I say, Purium came in when it did, but it's a lifesaver. Thank you so, so much, Stephanie. And I'm so excited to bring in our next guest. You guys did an incredible call together, which we're going to be linking. I watched that replay the other day with Stephanie, the last call with Allison. So Allison Elsbury, we're going to be hearing from in a minute. She is the creator of Embodied Brilliance and Brilliant and Barefoot, and assists babies and children and their families to anchor their light on earth by deepening their connection to their body, to nature, and divine. As a former pediatric occupational therapist and craniosacral therapist, and as a current student of pre and perinatal psychology, she was guided to create new learning pathways that nurture child's awareness of their bodies so they have a healthy foundation to flourish with the gifts and live as their true radiant self in physical form. So I am just so excited to pass it over to you, Allison, and give you the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. So can y'all hear me? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And I just want to say it's an honor to connect with you again, Stephanie, in the synchronistic moment when I was on the Million Mom movement about 2 years ago, with you. So it's really beautiful. So I'm honored to be here and be sharing and talking about this topic as well. It is something that is also very near and dear to my heart for a myriad of reasons. I have such an affinity for assisting babies and young children and their families in very miraculous ways. And the postpartum season is such a big topic that it was honestly a little bit challenging to distill everything down into some bite-sized nuggets. But what I really felt most guided to share with you today has to do with talking about nutrition, nature, how those two are connected, why that is so important to a mother and a baby, and how Purium can really support that process. So the first thing that I want to say as we dive into this topic a little bit more is I want to preface this with 3 really important things. And the first is to acknowledge that birth is part of the postpartum period, meaning there would not be a postpartum season in a woman's life without birth happening. Birth is the bridge. And what happens for a mom and a baby during their birth experience is actually what shapes their relationship to their postpartum experience. So it's really important to keep that in heart and mind. So the second thing is that birth is unique to every single woman and mother and the soul that they're bringing through Earthside. And there's no right or wrong way for her to choose what is right for her own body. The third thing that I also want to mention is that when we typically talk about the postpartum period, we're typically talking about birth to 6 weeks, even 3 months out, or what's commonly referred to as the 4th trimester. But in my humble opinion, the postpartum period never ends, even if you have a 20-year-old or a 50-year-old. And the reason I want to bring that to light in this conversation today as well is because if you're listening to this and you're realizing, wow, I really had a rough birth experience, you and your baby, or however old they are now, have every opportunity to heal and repattern from what your experience has been. There are infinite opportunities available to you. So that felt very important to acknowledge. So there's a really unique phrase in the pre and perinatal psychology world, and it goes a little something like this. How you're birthed is how you earth. Meaning, how you come into this world as a soul and into your body really matters. It has that much power and influence and imprinting in our nervous system. It's very important. Babies love to stay connected to source, to their sacred origins. They want to be connected to their body. And assisting them to feel more connected and comfortable in their body from the very get-go, from the very first moment that they take their breath, is absolutely everything, because it is their foundation to thrive as a human. It's that important. And so, because being present and connected in the body is so vital to a baby's health and well-being, and the bond that that baby has with its mother, there are many ways to support this for a baby and a mama. And the one that I want to talk about today, that I want to highlight, is acknowledging a really important transition that a baby goes through when they come earthside. Now, beyond the birth process in and of itself, because that's a big experience. But I'm talking about the transition when a baby goes from being in that really watery womb space and getting used to and being used to receiving nutrition from the umbilical cord, and then coming out onto the other side into the earth realm, and then now having a relationship with gravity and getting their nutrition by mouth. That's a huge transition for their nervous system and their entire being. So just taking that moment sometimes and just honoring that in a baby by simply putting your hand on your heart, putting one hand on somewhere on their body if they want to have their hand, your hand, someone's hand over or near their belly, and just honoring that you recognize that transition can actually help jumpstart their digestion. Just to honor that process and that ability of what has just happened for them is everything. So the other thing I really want to say about that too is the more we can honor and ease that change from receiving nourishment from the umbilical cord to going to the mouth, the better. And one way to do that is for a mother to have food and nourishment for her body that is absolutely of the highest consciousness, pure organic nutrition that is easily digestible for both of them. So this really helps a baby's digestive system feel really supported and well cared for. And in fact, the way that a baby's saliva is designed to communicate with the mother's breast is miraculous. It has the ability to tell mom's body exactly what nutrition that it needs. It's that important. So when a mother eats food that has a very high frequency or a high consciousness that has been directly sourced from nature, that consciousness fully feeds the frequency of the baby's body and soul. It's that important. That light, that nutrition actually brings that deep into the cells of their body, and it helps them anchor their light, not only in their body, but it actually sets up their health and vitality for years to come. And the same for mama. So you can see that it's designed to have a real sacred reciprocity there. If we're acknowledging that transition that baby goes through from getting food from the umbilical cord, then to the mouth, and if mom is given every opportunity to have access to the highest quality nourishment that connects her to nature, it sets them both up for a healthy foundation to flourish for years and decades to come. It's that important. And in fact, the first connection that a baby ever learns to have with the earth is actually through mom. It's through our mother. Not only with the food she takes in, but actually through her ability to ground, be present, understand what's going on in her nervous system. And what's really amazing about the mouth and how it relates so important and powerfully to the postpartum period is that what mom takes in, baby takes in. What baby takes in, mom takes in. The nervous systems are so intimately linked. And the mouth is one way that we're designed to actually connect to nature through the food that we take in. And it's why it's also really important for a mom to learn how to resource from outside of her own well, from something bigger outside of herself, especially in the postpartum season, so that she's abundantly sourced instead of depleted. And two of those resources or ways to resource from nature or from outside of our own well into something bigger is through nutrition and nature. And that's why the sacred season of this postpartum period that we're talking about really holds the potential to heal and evolve any physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and even ancestral trauma and patterns that are up for a woman right after she gives birth, because that's how the body chemistry is designed in the postpartum period, is that open and expansion and really opening her up to massive amounts of healing. And if she's well supported in that nourishment time of her life, she has the ability to create a foundation of vitality for the rest of her life. It's that important. And it's how powerful and sacred the postpartum season really is. And it's why birth is such a powerful healer. And it's why postpartum care and nourishment is not a luxury. It's essential. It's absolutely essential. And unfortunately, there's a lot of gaps in postpartum care, and it's truly meant to be a time of rest and replenishment, connection and sacredness, and for a woman to be incredibly supported during that time. And Purium's superfoods are a wonderful way to honor that time and season because they are directly connected to nature and the divine. They're sourced from such high quality nutrition that's nutrient dense rich, fertile soil origins, that it actually is giving the mom exactly what she needs to set herself up for better health on all levels. And I think it was in last week's call, I think it was Kiev during her share said, Purium is made for mothers and mothers to be. And it's so true. And part of the reason why that's so great is because, again, these superfoods are a direct connection to nature. They offer a resource outside of your own well from something bigger. They ease your earth journey by nourishing your nervous system, helping you be more present in your body. And it can heal your body of the things that are very common for a lot of women in the postpartum phase. And the other thing that makes this really attractive for moms is that it's really simple and easy. There's little preparation, and it really complements other postpartum nutrition and nourishment. Like if a mom's doing a lot of Ayurvedic meals, or a lot of people might be bringing her food, or she has a meal train set up. Purium is great to weave into those other sources of nutrition. They're very complementary. So a lot of people kind of wonder, where would a mom start in the postpartum nutrition phase, with Purium? I actually really like to keep it very simple. The core 4 or the ULT is a really great place to start. It is the organic nutrition right at your fingertips from nature's apothecary. The Power Shake, or even the Epigeneous family, or the Love Meal that Nayeva was talking about, are great sources of nourishment that you can mix with other things. You can add in fruit, banana, avocado. The sky is the limit there for what that can do, but it's giving you complete nutrition and giving you really great adaptogens that really replenish and nourish your adrenals right after birth as well. Also included in the core 4 are the super aminos, which a lot of women really like because it helps their skin and elasticity come back online after giving birth. The other thing that it's really great for is deep grounding and really helping the hemispheres of the brain come back online after such an expansive or contracted experience of birth. The apothecary is great for deep sleep, and it won't put you in such a deep sleep that you won't be able to wake up. It gives you quality, restful sleep. And the Biomedic is wonderful with what Stephanie was talking about, with helping rid your body of glyphosate and other harmful toxins and chemicals. Now, for any mama who is breastfeeding, the way that glyphosate leaves the body is not through your breast milk, it's through your urine. So you don't have to worry about that. Because a lot of moms ask about that. Great add-ons for moms as well are barley grass juice for breast milk production with coconut oil to get the fats in there. You can easily add that into the Power Shake or with the Epigeneous family, or even with the Super Love Meal. And it's a miracle for bringing more breast milk production online, and it's also replenishing your body in a lot of other ways. And if some moms, if you've had postpartum hemorrhaging and you're really wanting to replenish and build your blood or build your iron levels back up, spirulina and Sea from Nature is a great combination for that as well. So I highly recommend that. And if you are someone who knows a woman who is pregnant, about to give birth, or has just given birth, and you're really curious as to how you can support a woman in the postpartum phase, or if you're looking for a gift to give a woman in your life that you know, Purium is a wonderful way to do that. You can create a gift basket, and that goes for mom and baby. So many baby gifts after birth tend to be focused on baby only, but if you actually can give them Purium, this is a basket that could be given to them that nourishes both mom and baby, which is everything. Because when one is nourished, so is the other. That's how their nervous systems work. The other idea could be to make a really nourishing meal using the superfoods. Like you might even be able to just make a power shake and take a handful of aminos over as you go visit a postpartum mama, and you give that to her while maybe you do a load of laundry for her, or while you hold the baby and she sleeps. And another idea of how to gift Purium to someone during the postpartum phase is, these are great things to bring to a baby shower as a gift, or even have a whole baby registry of just Purium, or even bring it to a blessing way. So those are just a few ways that you can incorporate Purium into gift giving for postpartum moms during this season. So in closing, I just want to say that there's so much to say about the postpartum season, but one of the things that I see so often is that there are so many things thrown at you as a new mom every single day, things vying for your attention. Where you choose to place your attention and where you choose to focus it is everything. And the three areas that really need your attunement and presence in the postpartum phase: nature, nutrition, and your nervous system. So focusing on your connection with nature and nutrition through the food that you eat helps your nervous system. So that's one simple thing that you can do, that you can breathe through, and that hopefully won't feel so overwhelming, especially if you're given all the support that you need during your postpartum season. It'll nourish you and your baby in really grounded and healthy ways. So thank you. Thank you for listening and allowing me to be here and connect with you in this way. And yeah, there's so much more to say, but I'll have to pause here for a moment. And if you're curious for more about babies, I did a call about 2 years ago with the Million Mom Movement that I see that replay linked already in the comments. So yeah, thank you.
Beautiful share. So thank you so much, Allison. I think everyone got some great notes, and thank you so much. And we put the link there, right? Okay, great. Everyone go back and watch that call. Back to you, Nayeva, because I know we have one more guest. Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you. Thank you. What incredible tips and tricks that you just gave us. I appreciate you really going in depth into each area of postpartum and really giving us some great ideas of how we can incorporate this into gift giving and helping to support the new moms in our community. So thank you so much for all the insight that you shared today. I really appreciate you coming on, Allison. And our last guest is an incredible leader in our community. She's a mother of 3. She's had the opportunity to use Purium through her pregnancy, and she is such a powerhouse of just sharing this with herself, with her family, with her community. And so I'd love to bring you on, Mary Beth Fleming. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Nayeva and Allison and Stephanie Dawn. That was such good shares. It's so good to see you, Stephanie, and I just so appreciate the education and awareness. And Allison, I just loved your tips. I can really speak to the things you were saying. I'm just going to share my story quickly. I have 3 children. And my first son, I was not utilizing Purium. I considered myself a really healthy person. Like I ate organic, I had been organic gardening, had done a lot of cleansing pre-pregnancy. And I was so shocked when I was 13 months postpartum with my first that I found myself in postpartum depletion, which is different than depression, like Stephanie Dawn was talking about, but it's similar. It's a physical, emotional, hormonal exhaustion. And things that happen are, your nails start breaking really easily, mood swings all the time, hair falling out, really low energy, having lack of passion, kind of like Stephanie Dawn was talking about. And I remember being so baffled, like, what's going on? I'm really healthy. Like, I think I'm really healthy. And here I am 13 months later, in my breastfeeding journey, experiencing these postpartum depletion symptoms. And so that's when I got introduced to Purium and this idea of just really loading the body with micronutrient, high quality nutrition, and learning about glyphosate and getting that out of the gut. And it was incredible. I did start on the core four, like Allison was talking about. And literally within a few days, I started to notice difference in my energy and my sleep patterns. And really, like, it was about 3 weeks into my journey with Biomedic where I noticed the first 3 weeks, my mood swings were kind of like all over the place and recalibrating, I'll say. And then since then, my moods have been the most stable that they've ever been in my life. And I've had 2 children since then. So it was just so incredible to see how my gut microbiome was affecting my mental state as well. And so when I got on the Purium Nutrition, literally about 2 months in of being consecutive on the products, I had my aha moment where I came back to myself and I was like, oh, this is me. This is what I remember. This is the energy I remember having, the vitality I had before having kids. My hair stopped falling out, my nails stopped breaking, and it was then 6 months after starting Purium that I got pregnant again. And I've had 2 children since, and I can happily say that I haven't experienced postpartum depletion or depression at all with those second 2 kids. And really the only thing different that I've done is incorporate the Purium superfood nutrition and really have that as part of our lifestyle. So it's just so powerful what we have here. And I am such an advocate of sharing this with all mamas to be, because I was so surprised 13 months later after having my first kid, how I could still be having effects of the depletion. And I think many people face that. And like I said, I considered myself a healthy person. And I think of all the mamas who maybe don't go into pregnancy as healthy as they'd like to be as well. So I'm one of those people that always gifts Purium superfoods to other mamas as well, brings them to baby showers and things also. And I just really appreciate the information that was shared here. And, my kids, it's funny because they're total superfood babies. And sometimes I'm like, man, they have so much energy. Like, what am I doing here? But it's so good. Their vitality is so strong. And like Allison was saying, they're really connected to their light and their intuition. And I think it has so much to do with the nutrition that they've had from a very young age and throughout their lives. So I just wanted to share that story as a testament to the power of what we have here. And thank you, ladies, so much for having me on.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mary Beth, for sharing, your comparison to like your first pregnancy and then your other 2 pregnancies, and how, it totally changed that postpartum time for you of just the way that you're feeling in your body and the energy that you have. And if you have anything else that you want to share on that, we do have a few more minutes and then we'll close out.
Yeah, I'll just say, some of the products that were so supportive for me right after birth, with the last 2, just the apothecary, the aminos, the cocoa hydrate. I used tons of cocoa hydrate during my birth. Can't beat this to help me have the energy and stamina to get through those. I did have some tearing with my births, and so the aminos were amazing at helping me naturally heal those and take care of those. And I'll just say, like, I felt so held having these superfoods with my last 2 children. I remember after my first, I kind of was like, what do I eat? What do I do? Like, like I just didn't feel like I had all I needed. And with the last 2, I was just so nurtured. Like, my husband would bring me my aminos and I would drink my apothecary and have my cocoa hydrate and do my renew skin, hair, and nails. The dark berry protein has been a definite go-to of mine, along with the power shake. the barley grass juice, like just so abundant and so nourished. And one thing that it's allowed me to really do is really pour into being a mother from my overflow. So one of my teachers taught me, it's not that we just want to pour from our full cup, because that full cup should be for us mothers. Like we need our cup filled for our own sanity, for our own um, passion, purpose. And then where we get to pour from is the overflow, where the cup overflows into the saucer. And that's what we get to give our families and our children. And so that's what Purium's allowed for me, is just that abundance of nutrition to come in so that I can have an overflow pouring out. So, I mean, there's so many products that I use from Purium, but those are the ones that stand out the most in terms of what I used immediately after having children. Also the biofruit. My kids call that their healthy Gatorade. So that's one that we ingest daily. And just, yeah, I'm just so grateful to have those on hand and then be able to continue to fill my cup so I don't get emotionally or physically or mentally depleted, just because parenting is demanding, right? It really is. So I'm so grateful to have these resources.
I love that. Thanks for sharing some of the products that really helped you in your life and benefited you, because it's so important. So many times we're not sure what to grab for, especially because we have such a huge plethora of amazing superfood combinations and products. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming if we don't know what is most beneficial to us at a certain time. So thanks for sharing your recommendations as well. I'm gonna pass it back over to you, Allison, and to close us out, I'll pull out our closeout screen. And next week's topic, real quick, next week's topic is all about our greens. It's Purium's 20-year anniversary, you guys. Woo woo! Super excited to celebrate with Purium. Their first product was Kamut, and that came out over 30 years ago. And this next week on Friday, we're going to be celebrating our 20-year anniversary with the greens. So we're going to be highlighting spirulina and kamut and barley grass juice and all these pure greens that are single ingredient products that were the first ones that came out at Purium. So please join us next Friday for that incredible topic. And then the last Friday of this month, we are going to be sharing about menopause, post-menstrual cycle time of life. And so we'd love to invite you back for that as well. And if you or anybody in your team has stories around that time of life, we'd love to consider you as one of our guests on that topic in a couple Fridays from now. So please reach out to us, and I'm going to pass it over to you, Allison, to close us out.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nayeva. And thank you for all the guests that shared. I know, I think Stephanie Dawn had to just dip out, had to leave early, but thank you so much, Stephanie and Allison and Mary Beth. Your story is so powerful and inspiring. And I know that, definitely so many people will benefit. So please like and follow on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. That's where you're going to find the replays to these calls so that you can share them. These calls, the whole idea is that we need to get this to 1 million moms. We need to get access. We need to get this information into the hands of all the moms that we can, and all the caregivers and all the aunts and uncles and grandparents and everyone, because it takes a village, as we know. And so our call to action will be to share the replay of this call, plus the other two that we did. We have a series we've done the past 3 Fridays. We did pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and now post. So that is going to be an amazing, share for anyone who is expecting or is trying to get pregnant, and or maybe just to get those out there. This is really valuable information for the whole journey. Very important. And to please go and watch the replay as well of, I think, Nayeva, did you put okay, that was the replays of the past 2. I was trying to log in just as we were talking before, but Nayeva, can you also, again, I know you posted it a while back there in the comments, but just for people to also go back and watch that last from 2 years ago with Stephanie Dawn and Allison Elsbury, where she goes into more depth into her practice. So I would, definitely encourage you to watch that, and to please share this far and wide. Please like and hashtag when you're going to be, on social media. If there's anything that you think would be good to share in our community, please hashtag Million Mom Movement or tag us, and Nayeva will be sure to share. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Allison, for hosting the call today. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.